I think it's time you scratched that V12 itch. Let's be honest, at some point in your life, you're going to experience a V12. And guess what? There's no perfect time to do it, but it might be now. This is the Aston Martin DBS, the last of the great naturally aspirated V12s, the 5.9 litre engine with 510 horsepower. And if you've got a spare £70,000 lying around, you could own one. Now let's be honest, if I really wanted to scratch that V12 itch, I could just go out and buy an old BMW 7 Series or a Jaguar XJS. But let's be honest, they don't look anywhere near as good as this. So let's get behind the wheel of a proper British icon. I'm Max Satavani and welcome to Driven Plus. So I might make a few people feel old here, but my main memory of this car was Daniel Craig flipping it in the movie Casino Royale. That was in 2006 and I was 6 years old. But I also remember how cool this car was. It looks so futuristic and elegant. Has that changed in almost 20 years? God no, it looks $1 million. It could quite easily stare in another James Bond film. Anyway, enough of the 007 theme. This is the second generation DBS. The first one came in 1967 to replace the DB6. Then this came in 2007 through until 2012, and then it returned with a third generation called the DBS Superleggera in 2018. Now you can actually buy this car with a 6-speed manual gearbox, but most of these cars come with a 6-speed automatic gearbox from ZF, which works quite nicely. But most people who bought DBSs back in the day spec this automatic gearbox simply because this is a GT car. But guess what people want now? The manual gearbox, of course. But let me show you this fantastic V12 engine. Now Aston Martin calls this a 6-litre engine, but in actual fact it's a 5.9 litre engine. Aston Martin rounds up. Now this produces 510 horsepower and 773 Nm torque. Impressive torque figure considering there's no turbo or supercharger going on. This has a top speed of 188 miles per hour and it's equipped with a 6-speed ZF torque converter, and all the power goes to the rear wheels only. Aston Martin also say it will do a 0 to 60 time of 4.3 seconds. So let's launch it. So Aston didn't give the DBS launch control, and I don't blame them either, because it just feels weird that I'm about to launch an Aston Martin. It just doesn't sound like that, does it? Anyway, on your screen now are the stats and figures on this car, so pause your screen if you'd like to look into them. So I've got the car in sport mode, and yeah, I'm not going to manually change, I'm just going to let the car do the work itself. Here we go. Wheel spin. It's quick though, it's all top end. 4.6 seconds. Do you know what? I reckon it could do it quicker. I reckon it could. But I don't know if I want to launch this twice. Do we go one more? Let's do it once more. Why not?
Okay.
Oh, a lot of wheel spin. Oh, that's better. No way! The same time yet again. 4.6 dead on. That's exactly what we got last time, wasn't it? I'm sure it was. Well, anyway, I'm really impressed with that, considering it hasn't got launch control. But it's not the type of car you're going to be launching every time, is it? No. But anyway, that's what it stacks up against, and let's go back to the review. Now I think the DBS is actually quite a light car considering the fact it's got a big V12 engine. It weighs in at 1,700 kilos. That's thanks to Aston Martin utilising carbon fibre where they could, starting with the bonnet, the front wings, the structural surrounds of the doors and the boot lid. The DBS came with carbon ceramic brakes as standard, and you'd like to think so too, because this car was Aston Martin's flagship model. It cost £160,000 new back in 2010, and the exterior colour midnight blue with these silver 10-spoke alloys just work so well. Welcome to the very plush interior of this Aston Martin. Remember, this is a GT car, so it must provide you with a luxury and elegant experience, but yet with a sporting touch. So what elegant features do we have first? Well, I'll tell you first what we've got is the smell. You know when a car is built correctly, when you get in a car and it smells fresh, it smells of leather, like a good Gucci or Louis Vuitton leather handbag. It smells quality, and this is what this car is. It just smells proper, but all the leather used is just the build quality is, oh my god, it's so good. There's no creaks going on. It's put together really well, and all this suede headline as well. The Alcantara is beautiful, and all the sporty touches too, where you've got a little bit of carbon fibre on the door cars, and of course the steering wheel feels sporty and it looks sporty, and these seats with the DBS embroidered on the backrest too. And if you turn your head to the back, you've got Aston Martin embroidered in the middle of the back seats too. And yes, this is a 4-seater, but I'm not so sure who you're going to fit in the back. And the finishing touch for me is the Bang & Olufsen sound system. I love the fact, if you look by your footwell, you've got Bang & Olufsen down there. I'd like to experience what this sound system sounds like. My favourite part about this car is how it looks from the rear end. I would go as far and I would say that this car is perfect. And if you disagree with me, let me know what you think is the best looking car from the rear end ever, and I'll respond and I'll let you know my thoughts. But on the rear, you've got a bit of the chrome going on, the DBS badge, this carbon fibre diffuser, and the twin exhaust setup. Now, although this car sounds good, my favourite part is how the starter motor sounds. Okay, Ben, let's hear what the starter motor sounds like. Oh, listen to this. Before you rev it, Ben, let me just get up close to the exhaust. Perfection. Let's hear it, Ben. I'm getting spat on with petrol. Okay, let's get back onto the road. So what's this like to drive then? Well, firstly, let's talk about the engine, because that's the main star of the show. I've never driven a V12 engine before, so it's going to be interesting to see how it responds, but anything below 3,000 RPM, there's not much going on. But I've got it in third gear at 50 miles per hour, and it's hovering just above 3,000 RPM. And one weird thing is the fact that the rev gauge goes up anti-clockwise. I've never experienced that before, so there's a little quirk for this Aston Martin, but I'm just waiting for a straight piece of road to really understand how this engine responds. Okay, here we go. Yeah, picks up around depth. Wow. This is like a train. It doesn't half pick up, it's all in the top end. It's all up there. Listen to it. Do you know what? It's more refined than I thought it would be, because I thought this car would be a little bit rawer than what it actually is, but it's a GT luxury car at the end of the day. I'm smiling. I've got a V12 and it's pulling like a train. Oh my god, this is quick. Oh my god. Let's go again. Oh, I'll tell you what, you don't realise how fast you're going. So you get up to the top end around 6,000 RPM and it just keeps pulling up until, well, that red line, it doesn't actually show where the red line is, but somewhere between 7,000 to 8,000 RPM. What an engine. Next, we're going to talk about the 6-speed automatic gearbox, and one thing's for sure is that it works much better than the one found in the Vanquish, which I think is a single clutch gearbox. They're not really the most reliable in the Vanquishes, but when you come into this, obviously it's a torque converter, so it's different. One thing for sure is that it's much of a smoother ride, so you know, just going through the gears, it's responsive, it's also smooth at the same time. But I would say it lacks that brutality you probably would have expected for a V12 Aston Martin car. But I think it suits the personality of this car. It's a GT car at the end of the day. Do you want it to be brutal? Not really, no. You want it to be smooth but responsive, and that's exactly what this gearbox is. So it's a good gearbox for this car. This isn't really that type of car where you just sit back and let the engine do the work. It doesn't really work like that. Like anything below 3,000 RPM, I'd actually class this car as a little bit lazy. There's not much go in it, simply because it's all top end, it's naturally aspirated. So I wouldn't class it as an effortless drive. If you really want to utilize all the power, you have to put it in manual mode and physically drive this car yourself. So to put it in manual, all you have to do is just simply start using these paddles. And these paddles are absolutely, oh, they're unreal to feel. They're like aluminium but leather coated at the same time. Never seen that before. The attention to detail in this car is on point. So I'm going to put the car in sport mode via the button down below and sharpen up the suspension too, and just let it rev out, and that's, the car changes, it really does. And you put it through a corner and it's actually much more dynamic than what you'd think it would be, because the steering is perfectly weighted. It's not too light, but it's not too heavy. You really get a good sense of what the car feels like. It feels natural, it feels good. Like, this isn't the type of car you'd throw around like a 911. It's the type of car where you'd cross countries in via mountain passes in Switzerland, Italy, Austria, France. And if you're looking to take your DBS on a European tour, then you should check out our website, because here at Driven Plus we provide European and UK driving tours. So scan the QR code on your screen now and take a look at our events, and you can join us next time. You'll enjoy it, trust me. So if you're in the market for a GT car which has the same appeal as this, then what other cars have you got? You see, that's a tough question already, because no one else does it quite like Aston Martin. But I'm trying to think of cars that come with a 12-cylinder engine, and for this car we're going to go to Germany, and I'm on about the Mercedes SL65 AMG, and that came with a turbocharged V12 engine from around 2005, and you can pick them up for around 50 to 60,000 pounds. They're a cool car, don't get me wrong, but I think they look a bit dated compared to this. But a little problem with those cars is the fact that it's Mercedes. I've got no problem with Mercedes at all, but if you turn up somewhere in a V12 Mercedes, not many people are going to know about it. But if you turn up somewhere in an Aston Martin, instant head turner. Another option could be the Bentley Continental GT Super Sports, which comes with a 6-litre W12 engine, which is faster than this, but it'll weigh 10 times heavier, because those Bentley Continentals are very heavy cars. Yes, they are cheaper, but nothing quite does it like the Aston Martin. So what's my thoughts on the Aston Martin DBS? Well, at the start of the video I mentioned that you could scratch the V12 itch with either a cheaper car or something similar. But I think you should scratch that V12 itch with an Aston Martin simply because it's cooler to say. Scratching the V12 itch with buying an Aston Martin is like losing your virginity to Margot Robbie, as opposed to doing it with the girl you met at the nightclub last night, and then you wake up in the morning and then you instantly regret it. Don't do it the cheap way, do it the Aston Martin way. But I'd like to say a massive thanks to Ben and Brittany for coming up today and let me get a review on this car. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you very soon. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it a lot. See you soon. Bye.